Good evening and welcome inside the Toronto Rock Athletic Centre here in Oakville, Ontario. It is the home of the Oakville Buzz, who are hoping there's at least one more game left in their season, facing a 3-0 deficit here in the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League semi-final series. Troy Cordingley saying they've been outplayed in 7 of 9 periods by the Whitby Warriors in this series. However, those two were the first two in this building in game number 2. That still ended up with a loss due to a come-from-behind victory for the Whitby Warriors. I'm Matthew Carrick alongside Lucas Archer and the JVI Sports Network as we present game number 4 here in this second round series. Two very different coaching philosophies, a much more reserved, I think, Troy Cordingley, who's saying, obviously understands the desperation for his team, Lucas, but then for Phil Weatherup saying for Whitby, they're focusing on this and treating it as game number 1.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're coming into this game, the Warriors thinking, it's 0-0, we're going to take this 20 minutes at a time, not get ahead of ourselves. Troy Cordingley, on the other hand, saying it's going to take all 18 of the players out there in front of starting goalie Zach Constantopoulos to get themselves in a good position to extend this series. And they're going to do it with a face-off win that went out of bounds off Whitby, and the Buzz get their first chance on offense, Matt.
Charlie Boone up top. Here's Justin Tavares, was somewhat quiet with only 2 points in his first game of the series. Little shove there on the far side, returned it back right to Jack Moores. Combined 22 power plays in game number 3 out in Whitby, 2 nights ago, an 11-5 victory for the Warriors. Here's Blake Mason. It'll be Trayson Stewart returning to the lineup. Tonight, him and Liam Hackett in for Cam Monders and Ryder Haynes. Saw both of them go off hurt late in that game. The only 2 changes for Phil Weatherup, and that includes going back to starting goaltender Cooper Wilson, as you'd expect.
7-1 record for Wilson, .604 GAA, and an .838 save percentage in these playoffs. So no question why they're going back to number 45 here tonight.
Here's Cody McNeil, the lone addition to Oakville's lineup. He's in for Peyton Booth. Jump ball, Tavares had his stick in there as him and Hackett collide. That one over top of Wilson. It is Zach Constantopoulos back in the net here for Oakville.
4-3 record, 10-12 GAA, and an .813 save percentage in these playoffs. So Constantopoulos is hoping for win number 5 here tonight to see game number 5. Will that be the case?
Here's Cade Cordingley after the interception, down in transition. Tyler Francis Renner, cross floor. Tavares will run into it. Back to the near side, the rookie Owen O'Halloran. From the corner, Francis Renner with the screen. Little skip shot in on Wilson. Rebound will bounce back out. Handled by James Jemmett. Dark uniforms. Blue buckets left to right for Phil Weatherup's Whitby Warriors off the visitors' bench. Troy Cordingley's group going to the home creams, as they did in game number 2. Brought down here, Becker Lippert off to the races, ahead of Blake Mason, right it off the crossbar, back towards center. Don't know that there was going to be an over and back. Matthew Kirchmeier onto the loose ball anyways, as it's played back towards center.
Nice job right there by the Buzz to get on that. I know Trayson Stewart tried to dive and save it, but little out of his reach. Now the Buzz get a secondary possession.
Outside from Riley Woods, who has been tremendous in this series. McNeil knocked down far side with the ball being brought over center by Moores on the near boards.
A physical affair in game 3, Matt. As we said it was a lot of penalties, especially towards the end of the game, and both teams were trying to set the tone here for tonight. So we'll see what the temperature becomes in game 4 and how quickly it gets that high.
Ryan Proctor going to take the space of Cam Monders. Shot clock reset inadvertently, so Mark Thompson has the count down on the floor. It's him, Kyle Coulter, and John Vandergiesen, the 3 officials tonight. Here's Finn Morgan, O'Halloran. If you're looking for game number 5 of St. Catharines Orangeville, it's over on Hornhead Streams, getting underway about the same time as this one. By the end of the night, we could have the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Final Series settled. Boone and Oakville hoping that's not the case. Same story for Rusty Kruger and the Northmen, who are going to have to win on the road this evening.
Those two teams played each other last night. Matt, a bit of a lopsided affair up at Tony Rose Memorial Sports Center. I believe it was a 13-5 final for the Athletics.
Yeah, that one got rough and spicy as well. Here's Bryson Lamoureux. How good has he been in this semifinal series? The left-handed rookie getting it to Suter, far side, in on Konstantopoulos, who got it into his pads and stopped there. Saw his dad in the stands prior to, and as you can imagine, goalie dad, I said, how we feeling tonight? And he says, very nervous. Can't imagine being goalie dad to two top-level netminders, let alone one. On the crease, what a cutback move from Tavares. Well found from Eastman McCafferty.
That was a great move from Tavares going underneath, and I think it even got through the feet of Wilson, but somehow managed to stay out. So both goalies being tested a little early here this evening as we approach 5 minutes played here in the opening 20, Matthew.
Without incident, 10 left on the shot clock. As Messina comes to the restraining line, Suter outside, rings it off the left shoulder there of Konstantopoulos, who was pulled in both games out in Whitby in favor of Jackson McGar. Not the case here in game number 2, though. Little look off from Jamison Steele, had his eyes to the top of the set the entire way, and he's going to lose the foot race to Evan Barrett, who was in all alone, kicked out by Konstantopoulos. Punted all the way back across center floor.
Phil Leather have told us in the X amount of number of pregame chats we've had with him over the course of this season, Matt, that if the defense have a green light, he is going to allow them to do it. And you saw Barrett run the length of the floor, and unfortunately, it was a good toe save right there from Konstantopoulos. But a secondary possession here for the Warriors in their black unis.
Max Weather up around the corner. Jordy Jones-Smith reiterating that point before game number 3. Everybody on the back end has the green light all the time. McCafferty, a bunch of high steps as he comes across the restraining line. There's Owen Lee up in his face. Now going to turn it back in transition as it was intercepted on the far side by Reese Hewinuk. Stepping back, Lee shoots over top of the net. Battle on for the loose ball. Hewinuk went after it. First one there was Kirchmeier. And he'll cross center. 3 graduating players, Graydon Foulon, no Zach Warren, and Bryden Pitt for this Oakville team, hoping their season extends. Owen Toval, graduating player for Whitby, knows there's still a couple games left in his season. Either way tonight goes. Off the stick of Riley Woods and through the open door on Whitby's bench. And this could be a substitution penalty with the door open. Vander Geesen wants to talk it over with Mark Thompson.
So you saw the Whitby players changing. They had all their defense out, so it was just an errant pass that was missed, and possession is going to go back to Oakville, and that's probably the right call.
Oakville bench wanting a penalty for the minor as Tavares puts it back up top. Riley Woods saves. Standing tall is Wilson against Owen O'Halloran. What a stop there, and then slashes after the fact. I think we're going to get a penalty here to Evan Barrett, who put an extra one on Tavares. And Whitby headed to the box here.
So going to be a slashing infraction to Barrett. Didn't quite see it, but it was right in front of John Vander Geesen. We'll assume, and I know we're not supposed to do this as broadcasters now, probably just an off-ball one or late. Yeah. So first power play of the game going to the Buzz, and it's going to be quarterbacked by big number 7, Justin Tavares.
3 for 3 in the first period on power plays. Couple chances there at the side of the net for Jamison Steele. All 5 of their goals actually scored on special teams. Actually, all of them on the power play in that 11-5 loss.
Including one of them being a delayed penalty with an extra attacker last game. But Troy Cordingley said to us pre-game tonight, Matt, that he knows that their power play is going to be good, but they have to execute 5-on-5. So if he knows the power play can take care of business, we'll see how they do in their even strength, but that's not going to be for potentially another minute and 10 seconds.
Tavares will quarterback this second power play set here in this 2-minute stretch. Steele back to Woods and McCafferty. Up top, McCafferty getting the return pass, shot it right into the stick. I believe that was Justin Hewitt stepping up before passing to Owen Lee. Jack Moore's holding back here. 40 seconds left to go on the power play. Lee all the way across into the stick of Max Weatherup. We were jokingly told he would be a scratch tonight, but it's going to take 3 cranes and a natural disaster to take him out of the lineup, I think, at this point of the season.
And that's at the bare minimum if that were to happen to number 10. So Stewart's shot goes up into the netting, and Oakville has about 15 seconds left.
Tavares up the top again with Steele and McCafferty in the shooting spaces. Steele faked low, went high, little early. Brought down by Tavares, took a big chop from Lee, and now McCafferty run over just inside of center. They're going to give him the interference call. Tavares around Lee, dying seconds of the power play, out in front, over the shoulder from Riley Woods. Told you he's been good in this semifinal.
Right idea from Woods. If he has the lane, take it, and you can hear the sticks are out on the boards. That's a big kill for the Warriors. So now the Buzz 0 for 1 on the power play here tonight.
Down the boards, Weatherup has it. See if the Warriors can respond. 5-on-5, wild shot goes off the glass there. I think we're saying no over and back.
I think we saw Kyle Coulter saying he signaled a reset as it grazed the net.
Okay.
So, and then it ended up in the Whitby bench, so it wasn't going to be over and back, and Whitby with possession once again as we approach the midway mark of the first period. And we have a delayed penalty call coming on the far side. Mark Thompson with his hand in the air.
Messina to Lamoureux, he cuts back. Another one that goes off the window. Kyle Coulter rushing in as there's a meeting in front of Mark Thompson, who has the penalty call against Thomas Bagnall. Once again, 22 combined power plays between these two teams in game number 4.
Both coaches telling us, you want to win tonight, you have to be disciplined. You got to maintain your composure, and you got to play level-headed. So one penalty aside, not even 10 minutes into this game, probably not the best start discipline-wise coaches want, but there's always room to improve.
Suter threw Weatherup in towards the corner, up top. Matt Suter with it, Lamoureux. Those two playing catch, now down towards the corner. Trace and Stewart will go through the middle to set a screen. In front of Weatherup. Suter to the crease. Proctor, good shot. Second one from Weatherup and a split save made. Bryden Pitt taking down Weatherup after the shot. And Carter Drynan taking it out of harm's way.
Great look from the Warriors, but an even better save, especially on that second one from Konstantopoulos, going split save, kicking the feet out to keep that one out of play. So good save from number 31 to keep this a scoreless affair so far, as the Warriors have about a minute remaining on their first power play of the game.
Past the halfway mark here of the period, 10-7 shots favoring Oakville at this point. And once again, another good energy start. Troy Cordingley saying they need a 60-minute effort, but they're going to take it 5 minutes at a time here in this game. Here's Lamoureux. Skipper that just misses the net. Suter runs underneath it. Lamoureux up top again, wanted the return pass, but Suter had gone to the bench with only a couple ticks in the shot clock, and the 30 will sound. 34 remaining in the penalties, so Oakville can't take the whole thing down, but would do well to hang on to it here. Jamison Steele tasked with it. He'll have one more year in an Oakville uniform, and as we've said throughout the series, has been the guy over the last couple of years, basically since the arrival of Tavares, who gets shoved all the way outside the restraining line. Shot in there off of Wilson into the corner. hard after it. Charlie Boone going to win it against two Warriors players all by himself. Gets shoved out by Justin Hewitt. Has to replace his face mask before playing it up the wall to Tavares.
What a great play right there from Boone to not only find the loose ball, but then run through two defenders, especially more of Whitby's top two defenders, so that the Buzz can remain on offense here.
Steele in the corner, back for Tavares. Low shot. McCafferty caught there on the left leg of Wilson. Charlie Boone plays much bigger than his size. Don't have official size numbers on him, but you know, visibly not the size of a guy like an Owen Lee or others. But showed the determination there going into the corner after that loose ball. Now Messina. His shot hits the back of Kirkmeyer, came back to the restraining line. Proctor looking for Suter in the corner with 5 on the shot clock. Suter stepping back. That shot blocked by Proctor. And another shot clock violation against Whitby.
Looking up some stats on Charlie Boone. We said that he's not... No, you said it, Matt. He plays bigger than he is because he's not the biggest guy out there. He does play big, and that's what you got to do when you're only 5'8".
5'8", okay then. Aiden Erbach in there along with Reese Hewinuck on a hit with Tavares. Meanwhile, transition back the other way off Constantopoulos. He's looked solid again. Steele flipping to McCafferty. See if the offense unit can pick him up on the other side. Boone through traffic. Yes, indeed. 5'8", making it 1-zip.
Classic two-player game. If you're the low man, you come around the pick, you take your man low, and if you're able to, flip it back up top, and then the other guy just walks in. So this is actually 3 righties, but here's McCafferty. Takes his man low, gives it back to Boone, walks around, and he shoots it right past Cooper Wilson for the game's first goal. And for number 11, that is his 11th goal of these playoffs, Matt, and his 45th point.
45 points, that's gross. Considering only took 5 games to dispatch of Kitchener. And Oakville leading 1-0 off their 11th shot from number 11. Finn Morgan flipping it to Tavares. Wasn't allowed to shoot initially, then did take one. Lee runs into his own man, James Jemmett. And now going to take off. Jemmett and Tova with him. Lee takes the shot. That's off a body. Saying it went off McCafferty was Lee. Officials say otherwise, and we'll give it... Well, no, I think they are giving it here to Whitby. Nobody picked it up.
I believe the shot from Lee went off of a Buzz stick. I think officials signaled that, but we'll wait and see what all 3 of them discuss. And so it's going to be a turnover here, saying that shot went out of play. So Oakville is going to start with it.
So Oakville perhaps getting a break here. There's a ball in the stick of Steele outside. Down low, Boone to the front of the crease. O'Halloran got dropped there as the pass was flying through. He'll get back up and go through into the slot, but because he had been in the crease, unable to touch that ball, and that out of play call, whatever side you're on, now a moot point as Whitby brings it back. Far side, Weather up. Being spied by Liam Liza. Bagnall in the vicinity as well. Suter set the screen. Lamoureux shot picked out of the crease as it sat in between the legs of Constantopoulos.
Right idea from Suter to crash the crease and able to come away with a rebound. Can Whitby tie this game up here on this possession?
Suter back to the crease again, and he'll score. Follow your shots, kids. Good things tend to happen, especially here in Junior A, as the score's tied up.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Matthew. Follow your shots and good things happen. Suter takes his man underneath, able to go bounce shot 5-hole, and I believe he was being guarded by Carter Drynan. And he's able just to find a lane to the net, and it's now 1-1. Aiden Urbach went early off that face-off, so the Buzz will get it back here, and Justin Tavares will start with it in his stick.
Out to the bright yellow shoes of Cody McNeil, making his return to the series. Dance back away from Zachary Tucker. Now Wood sets the screen. Tavares can only get to the corner as Owen Lee was over there waiting. And now Tucker on McNeil also has to deal with the official. One hand able to get it up the boards, Riley Woods, but now there's less than 10 on the shot clock. Woods winds and fires. Got the foot of Jemmett in a hard collision behind the net. Lee and Tavares, who have seen a lot of each other in the last 65 minutes of play or so.
Yeah, they have. Those two have been jawing with one another, and Troy Cordingley told us at the beginning of game 2, Matt, we asked him what's the biggest hurdle with the Whitby defense? They got 51.
Yes. We've also got 1-5 back tonight. Trayson Stewart got to that ball with no time left on the shot clock. Pretty good 51 on the other side in Finn Morgan, who's played out of both doors for Oakville this season. It'll be Steele that pops out of the pile around the Morgan screen. Looked back in that direction. Now Steele shoots. Bouncer to the corner. Moores rainbows it up, and unable to bring it down was Liam Hackett. Boone runs away from Hackett over to the bench. Proctor. Back to the outside. Messina. Suter. Weatherup. Weatherup around Becker Lippert towards the back of the net as they hit 5 on the shot clock. Suter has it up top. Stumbling Constantopoulos still makes the save. And as two guys go cage to cage, Graydon Foulon, I believe, and Darius Jones.
Great defensive set from the Buzz, getting their switches and pressuring the Warriors shooters and letting them know that if you come through the middle, prepare to walk away with at least one bruise, and then they force him to an outside shot that Constantopoulos was able to make with his stick.
Tavares, high step, turns and fires. That one off Wilson. He's shaking his head no. Not sure if that hit him up high or if he was just gesturing in Tavares' direction. Either way, kept it out of the net. And Urbach keeping it onside with Stewart. Hangs on long enough to set a pick on Cade Cordingley. Blake Mason. Up to Weatherup. He'll go over the top on the run off the inside of the post. That's about as close as number 10 has got tonight.
What a look from Weatherup. Wrong side, bounce shot far side, just probably about a half inch away from potentially going in.
Now here's Boone the other way. The scorer for Oakville got it off Wilson. It'll bounce back out. May just be a thing he does to reset as he shakes his head again. Now brought down by Morgan, took it to the crease. Bounced off the boards and right into the stick of Evan Barrett. He'll stop before the restraining line. Easton Messina cutting in behind Bagnall. No pass now. Mason goes down into the corner towards Messina. Weatherup all the way across. Red shoes trying to connect as they'll get one more with Suter in through the middle. Weatherup swarmed. Back down. Messina scores.
Look out after the fact as looks to be Mason and I want to say that's Pospisil potentially getting acquainted with one another, and I know Weatherup ended up taking a check after the fact, but it doesn't matter as it's now 2-1 and Easton Messina scores, and we'll take a look at this again. Weatherup has it. He sees that he's late in the shot clock. Nobody goes to Messina as Weatherup was getting triple teamed. And then it goes 5-hole on Konstantopoulos. And then you can see a couple Warriors and Buzz players running in. And then that was actually Mason and Bryden Pitt getting roughed up. And after the fact, Matt, both of them are going to get double minors here on the scoreboard. So going to be double minors each for dead ball foul.
A horn goes off at the penalty box. It may just be 2 each, as there's 4s up on the board. Nothing has gone on online yet, but how about the attention that Weatherup got? 4 defenders headed back in his direction, and that opened up the shot there for Easton Messina, to get the second goal off 12 shots.
Yeah, it did. And the Buzz did have the right idea. Weatherup was in tight, 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and Buzz had the right idea, slide. They just forgot about number 55 that might have been even closer to the crease, and he was able to go 5-hole on Konstantopoulos. So if you're in-house, ignore the 4 minutes on the board, just 2 and 2 here for a dead ball foul each. So that's Pitt and Mason, as we have a minute 15 remaining here. And that's going to be a draw that Lippert sent into the netting, and the Warriors are going to get the ball back.
Won it so clean, it was up and into this safety netting down in the corner. Warriors picking it up here just outside of a minute to go. 4-on-4 for the first time tonight. Putting money on not the last time. Here's Suter. Backdoor cut from Lamoureux, couldn't find him. Stewart has it now. Back across Weatherup's direction. He'll get around Suter. Weatherup with it. Sidearm shot, Suter off the end boards, picked up here by Weatherup. No time, and ran over Weatherup. Did Drynan just as the shot clock sounded. This feels like way too much room for Justin Tavares, although he's already got Owen Lee in his backpack. Steal for Boone. Tipped out of his stick and won by Justin Hewitt. And timeout called with 22.7 seconds left here by Whitby.
Great defensive effort from Justin Hewitt, being able to stay with Boone and then get the stick on it, causing the turnover. And then as soon as he picked it up, timeout called by the Warriors. And you can see just on the left of your screen, John Vandergiesen talking with Phil Weatherup about the play that happened that happened just previously down low in the Buzz zone, with Weatherup being hit up high. And
this be the earlier save, I think, from Konstantopoulos.
Great split save right there from Weatherup, and getting a little extra attention afterwards.
And how about this one from Weatherup, going to ring off the pipe.
It will never cease to amaze me, Matt, how shooters at this age are able to pick their spots like that, especially Weatherup. Wrong side, on the run, late in the shot clock, just missed by half an inch probably. So remember, we are 4-on-4, so we will be 5-on-4 for this possession, as Cooper Wilson will be on the bench. So Suter, Weatherup, Proctor, Lamoureux, and Stewart.
Someone counting down on the bench of Whitby, but I think they're counting down to 7 on the clock for Suter, Lamoureux, and Weatherup. Oh, just missed again. Another one that I think Konstantopoulos got a slight piece of. And we get a conversation over in the corner after the horn. But 5-on-4 set was about this close to working.
What a stop by Konstantopoulos right there at the very end, as we get a look at it on the replay. So Parker Pfeiffer, offensive coordinator, counting it down. It goes to Suter. Lamoureux, look at that from constant topless to Rob Weatherup. Stretching out, getting the stick on it, keeping it out of play. And as 20 minutes concludes, it's the Whitby Warriors that have a 2-1 advantage. Down in shots though, 15-14, but a very up and back paced game so far. Lots of shots, good saves. Temperature very calm at the moment, but both teams are letting each other know that it's either going back to Whitby or it's ending, but either way, both teams know that there's a lot on the line here tonight.
I think the key term there is at the moment, because still 2 more periods left to play. Again, if you're looking for the Orangeville Northmen in St. Catharines tonight, head over to Hornhead Streams. It is 5-3 for the Athletics, who just scored. They should be finishing up their first period here momentarily. Our second comes your way in about 9 minutes. We invite you back to the track at that time for the second period. You're watching the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League semifinals from Oakville. We'll return in 9 minutes.
Ready when you are.
We're back getting set for the second period here in Oakville. Chance to look at some of the highlights from that first period, excuse me.
It's going to start with a good outside rip from Charlie Boone as Easton McCaffrey was able to take his guy low and then send it right back to Boone. Beats Cooper Wilson, and then Whitby's 2 goals are going to come off the sticks of Matt Suter and Easton Messina. Here's the first one coming from Suter. So see him on the far side here. He's going to take his player low, and he's able to go bounce shot past Konstantopoulos, and then their other goal came from Easton Messina as see Max Weatherup have it, gets the triple team right over to number 55, who goes 5-hole on Konstantopoulos, and that's where we stand at the end of 20 minutes of play. As it's Urbach and Lippert back at the face-off dot to begin period number 2, and Urbach wins that draw. And remember, we're still 4-on-4 for the next 30-ish seconds. I think ish is a word. That's in the dictionary, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
Sweet. So now it's 20 seconds
exactly
of 4-on-4.
20. I don't have to make up words. 0 for 1 on the power play, both teams, is now Messina cutting his way through. One of those 2 goal scorers, as you saw. 2 goals off 14 shots. Oakville 1 off 15 in that first period. One that General Manager Joel Watson was not too happy about watching on the sidelines. 5-on-5 now as Tavares puts it through the middle. Low shot, Easton McCaffrey on Cooper Wilson. Now in the net to our right. Whitby going right to left here in this middle stanza again. Orangeville Northman, St. Catharines Athletics at Hornhead Streets. Tonight a good night to make good use of the Google Chrome split tab feature. Suter around the corner. Under 10 on the shot clock. As he'll get it back in the stick of Jack Moores. Staying up. Trayson Stewart unable to shoot as Graydon Foulon is all over him.
A shot by Foulon to increase the pressure and force Stewart just to backhand it towards Konstantopoulos at the end of the shot clocks.
Finn Morgan far side. Charlie Boone had a great first period. Back with the ball again. Low shot, can't get it through his defender, Lee. Wilson down to make the save anyways, had that gone all the way through. James Jemmett in transition, gonna slow things down. Back to the front door. And for Troy Cordingley, as we said in that first period, playing a full 60 minutes of lacrosse. Pretty good opening 20. See if they can continue here. Max Weatherup may have gotten away with a screen, but comes back to snipe it and open the scoring here in period number 2.
Weatherup able to rip this one top corner as Suter gets the pass. Weatherup is gonna pick his man, who I believe is Pitt. So he picks Pitt, and then he takes the pass and gets Konstantopoulos to drop, and he's gonna put it right over his shoulder. Lead is now 2 goals, as it's 3-1, just over 2 minutes into this period. And a good draw, won by Urbach, and then Toval whacks it back to Hewitt. Back the other way, Messina.
Making his bid for a hat trick. Weatherup and Suter getting assists. It's been all those 3 here tonight. Weatherup with 3 assists. Suter a goal and 2 assists. Now Whitby's Tavares sending that cross crease for Boone. Easton McCaffrey all the way back. Tavares again. 5 on his shot clock. Number of moves to get free. You can see why he was the scoring champion in the OJLL this year, but Cooper Wilson, who may be in the conversation for top goaltender, standing there to make a stop.
Wilson's had a great season, and we're going to get a penalty coming here to Cade Cordingley, and he's not happy with it, so Wilson to the bench. But Whitby's gonna have to go quick as they have 3 on the shot clock now.
Max Weather up far side. Shot comes from Stewart off the post. Heads up. Everybody over in the Whitby bench.
Some Oakville fans not too pleased with that call, and you can see that Bagnall and Suter were having a word or two during the stoppage. So Whitby going to get their second power play of the game here. Matt, 0 for 1 on their first one. Can they go 50%?
Can hear "Let's Go Whitby" chant. Probably started by Mitch, and will be obliged by his team. A quick stick, backdoor, 18 seconds.
Great job from Trayson Stewart. He's not even sure if that went in, as that just snuck in across the line. Look at Stewart creep back door, gets it off. Konstantopoulos got 90% of it, but that other 10 was enough to give it some momentum that rolled across the line. And now the largest lead of the night for either team. It's up to 3, and that's a power play marker for the Warriors. And they'll get the ball back right here as it goes off of Lippert as he flips that one into the Warriors bench.
Weather up and Suter getting points again on the power play goal from Stewart. Weather up outside, down towards the corner as Mason continues the righty cycle. Back here to Suter, stepped in the crease before the Konstantopoulos save. And 4-1. In the context of a normal lacrosse game, not a big lead. In the context of this series, you feel like Oakville needs one here and needs one in the next few minutes.
Yeah, they do. They scored the game's first goal and haven't done anything since. I think they've hit one post, but
look out, trying it with Steele, and just missed before it went up out of play. Sorry.
No, you're good, Matt. It's just the case for Oakville that they're getting the looks that they want outside, but they can't beat Wilson. So all series long, they've been trying to solve the puzzle that is that suffocating Whitby defense. How do they find a look inside? How do they get the pick and the matchups that they want? It just hasn't been able to work out for them. We saw glimpses of it here in game 2, but then it kind of fell apart in the third period when we were here last Friday night.
Tie up here along the boards. Going to be drug out by Liam Luzza, and he'll cross center. 5 minutes into this second period. Remember, Troy Cordingley, the first 5 minutes of the first was going to be important for them. I'd argue first 5 of the second as well, and end up going -1 here in this second period. Tavares finds a man on the crease. What a little quick shot there by Luzza, who stayed up. His 14 counterpart, Hewinek.
I think Owen Lee kind of caught a break there as he stepped up to, I believe that was Cordingley, and then Steele was backdoor, so that was a good save from Wilson, and I'm sure if I'm Owen Lee, I'm thanking my goaltender next time I talk to him.
Messina, Hewinek, back to Messina, hat-trick goal.
So second goal for Easton Messina, as going to be a quick stick finish right here as he's going to streak back a door, and Reese Hewinek able to find him, and then low to low far side. Can't tell on the camera angle if that went 5-hole or just past Konstantopoulos' right foot, but second goal from Messina, and it's now 5 straight goals from the Warriors here. And Urbach has it here. He may go to net, and he does. Konstantopoulos. Good stop right there.
Recovered in the corner, Owen Lee. Up to 20 shots, already 6 here in this period to just 3 from Oakville. Floater that comes in off the shoulder of Konstantopoulos. Down for Finn Morgan. Morgan towards the corner. We'll get the return pass, sidearm shot, just misses. You know, I mentioned the goaltender of the year race. Both teams here in the Final Four have a case that their starting netminer are going to be part of that conversation with Zach Constantopoulos. Ty Wilson in St. Catharines. Cole Downey made a lot of noise in Orangeville this year. Need a good goalie to make a deep playoff run, but only going to be 3 spots in that nominees list.
Definitely going to be a tough conversation of who makes that top 3, as all of them have had really good seasons. Of course, Wilson kind of being the number 1 preseason, as went to the Minto Cup last year. He's the oldest out of the 3 goalkeepers, or sorry, out of the 4. So it's like, could say Wilson would be number 1, or that's Ty Wilson, and then younger brother Cooper and Cole Downey and are the youngest, and then Constantopoulos is right in the middle of them. So definitely a conversation to be had, going to be a tough one, but all 4 have made a very solid case for potentially taking home top goalie of the year.
Tavares stuffed again, tried to get it back to Boone, missed. Picked up by Urbach, trying to push transition with Owen Tuvell. Credited with a goal earlier on that I think was supposed to be Suitors, pardon me. So Suter with in on all the goals now, 2 and 3. Outside shot, Weatherup. Suter pushing it back in Weatherup's direction, but he was gone. And Graydon Foulon will benefit there.
Right idea from Suter, just couldn't find a receiver there as he was trying to swat that back to a teammate.
Want to get back to the goalie conversation in a sec. But first, McNeil flipping it to Woods. Back over his shoulder. Jameson's steal. Boone on the front doorstep. Got run over by Tucker. There did Owen O'Halloran, a rookie himself. 2 of those goaltenders we talked about are rookies in this league. Cooper Wilson still qualifying, and Cole Downey out of Junior B last season, but shows how good this rookie class this year has been. I'm not even going to start thinking about that award. Here is Suter. Round a screen from Proctor through the middle. Kate Quarterly came in to throw his body. Then Tyler Francis Renner ended up landing on top of Proctor. As much as I'm sure he appreciates the extra offensive reps, thinking, why me on that play?
Yeah. No, it's never a fun situation that Proctor finds himself in on that one. Just going to the net, has the idea, and then becomes a casualty of being landed upon.
Quick stick, Tavares backdoors. Steele tried to find him. Had a quick conversation about it as they headed off the floor. Ball in the stick of Hewinuk. Finds a man streaking off the bench. Bagnall put a chop into Mason even though he didn't catch the ball, and now Foulon plays it back to Tavares. Outside shot there off of Wilson.
I think Whitby wanted an illegal substitution call there, as Oakville might have sent one out the back door early, but doesn't happen. And now here's Darius Jones.
Picked up by Morgan. Chop there into the leg of Kirchmeier.
Constantopoulos to the bench here. 6 on 5, 10 seconds left on the possession.
Evan Barrett going to be called for a slash, pending a goal here by Oakville as Steele walks through, made it close. And we will get that call. And the second power play of the game for Oakville.
So I think it's going to be to Darius Jones. And as he was running by, so keep your eye on 41. You see 33 and 41. It's going to be right there. Just the one hand to Kirchmeier. Just running by and giving him a good one-hander to the knee. And 2 out of the 3 officials caught it. So Buzz get their second power play of the game, 0 for 1 on their first in the first period.
Tavares straight through the middle, little twist shot, picks up his own rebound as he came through the front of the crease. Zach Tucker chases him to the corner, and now a couple skips. Easton McCafferty will get it. Took 25 seconds off the power play time. Tavares behind his back. Missed Steele, bringing it down. Steele will go back up top again. Return pass. Jamison Steele trying to reach in front of Wilson. Steele hard check there on Tucker. Whitby still trying to play with it. Recovered by Oakville.
We're going to get an offensive penalty coming here as Lee and Tavares were roughed up in the corner, and I think Tavares just gave him the extra shove or whack or something in the corner down there. So that negates the power play that they had, and we're going to get 4-on-4 for another minute and 7 seconds. But eventually Whitby will come away with a power play. And we talked about discipline. We talked about composure. Unfortunately, that's one that Tavares just can't take. He got the loose ball, sent it up top for McCafferty, and just wanted to let Lee know that I'm not going down easy, and unfortunately lands himself in the box.
Suter all the way across to Stewart. Weatherup was ducking out of the way as him and Bagnall were tied up. Bagnall's got it, flips it back to Boone in front of the net and scores. Transition, working a charm here for the Buzz.
Troy Cordonley has told us all season long, Matt, in the second period, if we get our transition game going, we have a shot at winning. Now, this wasn't a shorthanded transition goal like they did last time we were here, but a good one nonetheless. Boone, first man out the door, takes the flip pass from, I believe that was Francis Renner, or sorry, that was Bagnall, and then just beats Wilson far side. So Oakville's first goal of this period. And we still remain 4-on-4.
Hard face-off battle here.
Look out here, Wilson coming out to play it.
And he's fair game. Nobody can pick up the ball as there were a couple shoves there on the netminder from Bagnall. Wilson does get back in between the pipes. Steele down the boards for Woods. Who's up top? Lets a shot go. Oh boy, rolled past Wilson. But just wide of the net.
What a save from Wilson on that one, and just manages to stay out after he came out to find that loose ball, and you said it, he was fair game. But now 5-on-4 here for the Warriors.
And Suter scores.
So we're going to start here back down now in Oakville with offense. Here's the shot from Riley Woods. Gets through Wilson. You can see all the fans behind the net start clapping and cheering, but it rolls just wide of the cage. And then right here, Trayson Stewart is going to give it to Suter. Suter's going to go to his left. Weatherup sets the pick, and bounce shot past Konstantopoulos. And as we get back underway, face-off won by Oakville here, Matt, and we're back to 5-on-5 with the Buzz having possession.
Just inside the restraining line, he'll throw O'Halloran down to the corner for Boone. He's got a pair. Shot there handled by Wilson. Suter from Weatherup and Stewart. As Suter's big night continues.
Back the other way, Blake Mason with a jumping and tried to beat Konstantopoulos. Don't know where the ball is.
In that right pad. As this pad seemed to swallow up more balls than most. But 6-2 now. Already a 4-goal period for Whitby, with just under 7 minutes left to go. Coming out of the corner, that shot off the sideboards 4 goals off 11 shots so far. Just 1 off 12 for the Buzz. Morgan trying to change that, forced out wide. Had McNeil on the crease. The dunk try doesn't work.
Nice job by Zach Tucker to knock down a pass before Woods tried the dunk attempt, and that's something that Jordy Jones-Smith has told us a lot this year. The defense likes to play tough, like to play physical, and they do one thing very, very well. They either knock down passes or they intercept them, and Tucker showed it right there.
Weatherup just missed. Picked up by Proctor, who shoots. Konstantopoulos looking around for it. And it was going to be Buzz ball, except for contact between Kirchmeier and Suter in behind the net. There were 2 Buzz players streaking off to the bench. They had 5 set up. Whitby bench was screaming for a 2-minute men call. Could have made a case for them as well, so I think the officials called the play on. Lamoureux, first time we've really called his name in earnest tonight, and he's going to make it count.
Great play and move from Lamoureux. Finds himself alone on an island, they call it, when you're one-on-one with your defender. Look at where he takes his pass. Out by the bench, no one comes near him, and then he just blows right past Liam Luzza to beat Konstantopoulos, restores the 5-goal advantage here for Whitby. They seem to be in full control here in this middle period, as we have 5.5 minutes remaining. And Whitby's going to get the ball right back there off another draw win from Urbach before he gets stripped. And now here comes the Buzz with numbers.
Charlie Boone from the outside. Woods got it over there. Boone spins back. Shot off Wilson. Rebound picked up by Pitt. And it'll soar into the far corner. Urbach. Hard first contact. Also in there looking for it as it bounces off the glass was Lee.
Nice play right there from Jack Moores to keep evading Foulon, and I believe it was Woods that was providing the forecheck. So good job by number 5 to get it up to the offense.
Shots now favoring Oakville, 27-26. That'll even them up as it goes off the foot of Konstantopoulos. To emphasize the job that Wilson has done tonight and the defense all series long for this Whitby team.
This defense doesn't allow many goals at all, Matt. And a big part of that is because of Cooper Wilson. And remember, we talked about it a lot this season. He was a backup last year to Tyden Redland.
Yes.
Learning from an NLL goaltender. Definitely has picked up a thing or two here, and he has shown it this season in the OJLL, helping Whitby to a top 4 spot in the standings.
Look out, Messina from outside. Looked like he was loading up a hard shot. Under 10 left to shoot as it comes up for Suter. He'll work around the screen from Proctor. Suter up top, sidearm scores. Coming from everywhere right now from Whitby.
Got a stoppage in play here for some water for both goalies, but not before Matt Suter scores his hat-trick goal. And how does he do it? Quick feet and IQ. Proctor sets the pick on Francis Renner, and then he's able to run right around Luzza, get his hands free, bit of a sidearm underhand release point, and that goes right past Konstantopoulos on his hip. And the Warriors have extended their lead now up to 4 as we have just under 4 minutes to go here in period number 2.
8 goals. Well, that shot total hasn't changed for the visitors. It should be about 28 by now, but 2 for Oakville, 25 saves for Cooper Wilson of the ones that have gone through and found him.
So Suter with a hat trick for the Warriors. Messina with 2 goals. Here's Urbach.
Aiden Urbach trying to do it by himself. Comes in on Konstantopoulos to make the save. It's Boone from the outside, back in the corner. Lee was right in the face of Boone. Tavares takes that whole pile down as the shot whistles high. Official got in the way of the ball there. Boone picks it up, passes back to Tavares, somehow catches it, somehow gets a shot away. And I don't think that got through to Wilson, hitting off Moores instead. And Tavares has it in the corner.
Good block from Whitby. Now they need to get a stop here on Oakville, as they seem to be, as they probably are tired after running in transition. Now on a secondary possession here, they got to defend.
Steele working it through, skips it into Wilson. Owen Toval there to make sure the rebound stays on his team's side. Weather up to the half boards. Back to Mason. Playing catch with Lamoureux. Now Weather up has it again. He'll work it in and around Will Simmons. Bryson Stewart had thoughts of chasing that down into the corner, but the shot clock going, he'll go to the bench. Jameson Steele, who was caught on defense that shift, joined by Finn Morgan. Steele, man right in his face. Couple chops there from Evan Barrett. Play back from Morgan towards the corner, Tavares. Far side, Boone shoots over the top. Save made by Wilson. Rebound bounces right to Hackett. Hackett and Darius Jones in transition off the bench. Pardon me, I think that was Messina coming in looking for Jones on the return pass, and it just bounced off his stick. Whitby took the lone timeout in that first period, so Troy Cordingley of Oakville has both his as we come down the stretch here. McNeil was all by himself for a second. They give it to Boone, picked up by McNeil. And a nice recovery saved by Wilson.
Good defense, past couple reps here from the Warriors, getting the matchups that they want, not allowing the buzz to get in on the inside, and that's something that they do really, really well, and it helps when you're learning from two Minto Cup champions in both Adrian Sorchetti and Jordy Jones-Smith on how to pressure your opponent and not allow them to get any good shots. As remember when they played, they were going up against shooters like Josh Byrne, Dane Smith, and I'm sure there's many others that are slipping my mind.
I believe Mitch Jones was part of the, I want to say Orangeville team, but he was from Whitby area, wasn't he? I know that 2012 Orangeville team was a wagon. Most of those guys ending up in the NLL. So was the 11-13 squads of the Warriors. 46.8 remaining here in the period. Played up the boards for Bagnall.
Look for Oakville to go for the 2-for-1 here.
Off the bench, O'Halloran does just that. He got hit hard as he came through, and stepping up is Bagnall to get right in the face of Jack Moores. And I think Bagnall wanted a piece of Moores after that hit.
So it's definitely going to be Bagnall going. Not sure if it'll be Moores. It looks to just be Bagnall. So
face mask.
It's going to be a face masking infraction here.
Not sure we'll have that, but we'll definitely have the initial hit. Watch it on the cut here.
Big hit from Lee and Moores together, and then you can see behind the play the two of them getting roughed up, and then there's the pull of the face mask from Bagnall. So another power play for the Warriors. They are 2 for 3 on the power play this game, but they are 2 for 2 this period. They'd love to go 3 for 3 as we have 20 seconds to go in the second period.
Here's Weather up, Suter, Stewart. No shots as of yet. Shot clock down to 10. It's got about 3 less seconds over the game clock. Suter up top. There's a call from the bench as Suter's low shot bounces in the crease. Picked up and bounced out. Luza has it. Only a couple seconds. He'll launch from center and well wide of the net. And stop me if you've heard this one before. It's another good second period for Whitby here in this series as they put up 6 on Oakville.
a dominant period from the Warriors as they had the lead by 1 coming into the second, wanted to put the pressure on Oakville, and they have now as they have built themselves a good lead. Not a comfortable one, I'd say, in this series, the way that it's gone, but a good lead right now as they're up 6. And what's been working for them? Physicality, IQ, and good ball movement. And of course, going 2 for 3 on the power play in the period won't hurt them as well. So they've done all the things that they wanted to do well tonight. They just need to do it for 20 more minutes.
Remind you that game number 5 between St. Catharines and Orangeville is ongoing tonight. The Athletics leading that game 6-4. Search for Hornhead Streams as they'll have that game for you. A win by the Athletics tonight will clinch their ticket into the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Final Series. Same story for Whitby, who are up by 6 after 2. Third period comes your way next from the Toronto Rock Athletic Center in Oakville. You're watching the OJLL semifinal. Teams are getting back on the floor, getting set for the third and final period, perhaps, of the series, as Whitby took a 6-1 second period. Lucas, here's the action.
It's going to start with Max Weatherup here in the period, as he scored just 2 minutes in, got Constantopoulos to drop low, and then able to pick his spot top corner, and then back door for Trayson Stewart on a power play goal. And then it continued later on as Reese Unick was able to find Easton Messina. Look at that outside rip, low to low, far corner, past Constantopoulos. Whitby was able to get a couple goals before a good transition goal right here from Charlie Boone, as he's been the only goal scorer here for the Buzz tonight with 2 goals in the game. And then it was right back to work on the power play for the Warriors. Watch Weatherup. Sets the pick. Suter comes underneath him, and a bounce shot 5-hole to beat number 31. The Warriors weren't done there, though, as Suter was fortunate enough to get his hands free. Before Suter does, here's Bryson Lamoureux that just muscles his way and beats him one-on-one of Liam Luzza. And then here was Suter's other goal of the period. Look at how much torque he gets behind that. Rotates his hips and his hands. Sidearm, underhand release point. As we enter the third period, Suter with 3 goals, Messina with 2. Weatherup, Stewart, and Lamoureux all with 1.
And I'm going immediately out after this game to buy bright red shoes, because apparently that makes you play better. Penalty coming up here. Substitution penalty, I believe. Or maybe we had a clock issue, I'm not sure.
Probably a clock issue, as remember before the period expired, Bagnall got already had a minor, so we were already manned down
Bouncer,
to begin.
it's in. So a quick start for Riley Woods, shorthanded.
Bit of a weird one here for Wilson, as Woods kind of goes underneath his man, gets the stick up a little bit to prevent being checked, and kind of goes bouncer off the post, maybe even hit Wilson on the backside and trickles over the line. So short-handed marker for Oakville from Woods. And they still have to kill off another minute of this penalty, and here's Luzza with it.
Go get the first part, getting the face-off, but then Carter Drynan, a 8-second count violation. Troy Cordingley discussing that one with his coaching staff. And as a shorthanded goal is announced here in-house. Weatherup quarterbacking this latest power play, 2 for 2 in that middle period, and then a dunk try. Gonna make it 3 for the last 3 here for Whitby.
As soon as that play was scored, Matt, I veered my eyes right to the Whitby bench, because Will Petsching definitely gave some props and some credit to Parker Pfeiffer, who drew up this play. It's Suter and Weatherup that set the pick. Proctor sneaks in behind, and then he just goes a full dunk try, and then sprawls all the way out, goes for the backhand where he turns his wrists over and puts the head of his stick right near the post and restores the 6-goal advantage. And then the Warriors get it back right here from Easton Messina. Flips it right to Toval, who might go to net.
Toval credited with a goal in the first, and he'll get one here in the third.
We talked about the defense of Whitby having a green light, and they do it just that. Watch what Messina does right here. Goes down, still manages to have the whereabouts to find Toval, flips it right to where he was going, and Toval just goes left to right, far side, past Constantopoulos. And that's a big goal right here for Whitby in order to keep their lead. Aiden Urbach going early on the face-off, so the Buzz will get it back, and it's going to start in the stick of O'Halloran.
Offhand, I don't know the answer to this question. The last time Whitby gave up 10 in a postseason. Gonna have to do it tonight if you're Oakville. Get them to do it. And gonna need to go +7 here in the third period to extend your season. A pretty large mountain to climb here tonight for the home side.
Last time Whitby allowed 10 goals in a game, Matt, was in this building. Game 2.
Correct.
When it was 12-10, the final.
Still not enough to win, though, yeah.
As we saw Whitby muster 7 goals in that third period here just 5 days ago. But before that, it was a long time before they had allowed 10 in a game.
Memory of a goldfish. Somehow still keep my job. Here's Steele from the outside. Picked up by Riley Woods. Told you, at this time of the season, they're all blending together. McNeil back up top for Woods. Oh my goodness, aggressive screen from Steele, blowing up Owen Lee. Interesting note, Tavares on that set. Would expect number 7 to be out there pretty much as possible down the stretch here if there's a comeback in the future of this Buzz team. Outside Trayson Stewart. Weather up. Room open for Tucker. Pass was into his midsection and couldn't bring it down, so it's Oakville. Up for Francis Renner.
That was a good look for Tucker. Just fortunately bobbled it a little bit and couldn't get the shot away that he wanted to.
Tavares out there now as it's played across for Boone. Wilson came heavily to his right to make a save. I don't think he ended up needing to. Shot clock does reset, though. Tavares taking the pass from Morgan outside. Bounced wide of the net. Brought down into the stick of Urbach. He's going to run straight past the slower Liam Hackett. Slower on purpose, I think, to slow down Francis Renner. Then ended up firing it wide of the net.
Yeah, definitely. Hackett had the right idea to just stop his feet a little bit, allow Urbach to go one-on-one with Constantopoulos, but unable to hit the mark as we heard the loud bang off the boards as he missed that shot.
Here's Steele. Good outside rip. Looking to the feet there of Woods. Or excuse me, Wilson. As Proctor plays it up top. Stewart to Weather up again with 10 on the shot clock. Little pick and the roll and the goal for Proctor.
So Proctor being moved out the O-door here tonight in absence of Cam Monders, who is scratched here this evening, and Proctor makes the most of it. Sets a good pick, shoots his hands to the middle, and takes the pass from Weatherup and gets Constantopoulos to drop it just enough that he goes top corner to beat him. And it's now an 8-goal lead for Whitby. That's a good draw win right there from Becker Lippert. Shot from Woods, and he scores.
Whoa. Right off the face-off comes the answer from Oakville. Gonna need more than this, though, as Lippert wins the face-off cleanly.
Yeah, Lippert just wins it cleanly, and then a good switch between Woods and I believe that's Bagnall for Woods to then come to the middle and just throw it low at Wilson's left foot, and he's able to beat him. Lippert comes away with another face-off win. Here's Woods again.
Where's that ball? In the stick of Wilson this time.
I think Bagnall wanted a possession call there as he felt he got shoved on the back, but officials say just give the ball to Whitby as it was in Wilson's equipment. And after, I want to say we've had 5 goals in the first couple minutes here of this period, and don't know if we'll have a 6th, as we haven't played 5 minutes yet, Matt.
Weather up to Lamoureux. Outside, shot there off Constantopoulos. Weatherup was looking for the rebound, already gone in the stick of Liam Liza. Liza jogging his way over the restraining line. A pair of Warriors defenders jump in front of that. And Francis Renner bounces it back in front. Francis Renner and Lamoureux jousting back at the restraining line as Tavares takes it to the corner. On the run through the slot, shot there, and eventually the official had seen too much.
Francis Renner and Lamoureux were tied up, and I think it was 24 in the cream-colored jerseys that gave the extra whack, which is enough for a turnover here, the way this game has gone.
Carson Stewart for Messina. Weatherup in behind the net where Suter's waiting. Got him for 7 points tonight, 3 and 4. Messina back to the twister, running out of time, and sees that one go up and into the safety netting. Matthew Kirchmeyer. O'Halloran. Boone to the outside, steal behind his back on the crease, McNeil. Nifty little play.
Good play from Oakville, just a little too late on that flip down to Steele. And Wilson was able to track it all the way.
Darius Jones staying up this time. Suter.
That's going to be a penalty coming here, as they're going to say that's more than just a moving pick. John Vandergiesen is going to give a tripping minor here to Proctor, as I don't know if he stuck out the leg or just the move that he made was enough with the leg. Just keep your eye on 42 in black, left side. He's going to come, and yeah, he actually did stick the left leg out just a little too much and tripped up the Buzz player. So a power play coming to Oakville. Third of the game, Matt, 0 for 2 up to this point.
Have had one per period, and if there is a miraculous comeback in their future, it needs to start pretty much right here, right now. Boone, McCafferty, and Tavares, as you'd expect. Then Steele and Morgan representing the left side. Oh, pardon me, Woods down on the crease. He is on hat-trick watch, scored shorthanded, scored off the face-off tonight. It's about the only way left to do it is going to be here on the power play. Drawn blanks so far this evening after it was pretty good. I mean, 5 for 10, but pretty good in Whitby the other night. McCafferty, Woods, corner, Boone, Tavares scores. Just his second goal, since coming back from injury here in his second game, but Tavares is on the board.
Just a step down shot from number 7, as he just has a little too much time and space, as you see Steele and Woods clear the lane for him, walks down and just picks a spot, just like his dad, John Tavares, who I think I've heard that name once or twice, has scored many times in his career, and I think Justin picked up a thing or two from his old man John, and that's just a seeing eye shot that goes bottom corner past a goalie, and that's a very hard save for a goalie to make.
Pops coaching tonight, the last game of the season for the Six Nations Chiefs, who will be the top seed in Major Series, facing the Peterborough Lakers, who, I mean, a lot of things have to go wrong for Peterborough to miss the playoffs, but in danger of doing so for the first time since 1997.
Delayed call coming here.
It is to Oakville. After the initial shot was off the leg of Messina. Lippert thought he was going to take off running, but you score the power play goal and then right back to the penalty box the other way.
So it's going to go to Cade Cordingley, as I believe it was on Messina that was cutting through the middle and just gave an extra tug on the stick. So it's going to be Whitby's 5th power play of the game. They technically went 3 for 3 in the period, but they are 3 for 4 up to this point. This will be number 5 for them on the night.
That one that extended past the intermission. Shot from Suter off the helmet of Weatherup. He's got it now, looking quick stick for Stewart backdoor. Stewart couldn't rip. He has one of those 3 goals. Proctor's busted a stick. Shot clock going to sound here against Oakville as he had gone off to the bench. Here's O'Halloran, Eastern Conference Junior B Rookie of the Year last season. And Buzz first round pick. From Halton Hills down in the corner, and Charlie Boone. Remember, no Booth on this right side tonight as Boone runs through over the top of the net. Tavares going to run into the loose ball. They do give a reset. As Boone all the way over to that far side to chase it.
Wilson got just enough of it to have it go over the crossbar and stay out, and Buzz able to get a rebound here.
Woods on his toes. Well-timed stick check from Evan Barrett. Under 10, and Woods will oblige the shot clock, but no one close enough to grab the rebound away here from Barrett.
Under 30 seconds to go now in the Cordingley minor.
Out from the corner, Suter. Lamoureux. Corner, Lamoureux has it again, under 10 to shoot. Suter, Weatherup, off the crossbar. And way into the rafters here. But fresh 30 seconds for this Whitby power play. Only a couple seconds remaining in it. So Lamoureux not going to force a shot. Cade Cordingley out of the box. Weatherup cutting through the middle. Pass goes to Stewart. Towards the corner, Messina. Well, Lamoureux got knocked down. Bench not happy about it. Played back to the crease. Constantopoulos was back and forth and down.
Look back door in the crease as Lamoureux was down. Suter was involved in it, and
I was about to say Constantopoulos was getting up slowly. There was an Oakville player, I believe Luzza, who was even slower. And Carter Drynan is already getting the door. As Lamoureux is trying to grab his gear off the floor here. Officials are going to have their hands full with this one. They've got everybody separated, and Lamoureux is not going to the box.
So it's only going to be against Oakville here so take a look back door here. Here's Suter. He then gets knocked over by Luzza. You then see Lamoureux get knocked over by Pitt. Drynan is involved. And you can see on the backside, like Constantopoulos was just making sure Suter got out of there a little bit. Officials trying to just make sure nobody gets injured. And then at the end of it, there's Drynan ripping the helmet off of Lamoureux and then chucking it into the corner. So it's going to be Carter Drynan for a face masking and a game misconduct.
Wow.
So he is out of the game. Or sorry, it's going to be a major to Drynan for face masking, and then a 10-minute misconduct penalty awarded to Pitt. So it's going to be Pitt so it's going to be
a power play 5-on-3 end result here for Whitby as Weatherup has it. Suter and Mason. Weatherup cross crease to Stewart. Nice save, Constantopoulos, as he came over. Mason back to Suter. Weatherup sneaking his way down to the crease. Up for Suter. Owen Lee is back as a safety valve, making this effectively 4-on-3. Stewart on the crease. Backdoor Weatherup. Pardon me, that is Suter. And just too much time and space for all the assets here for the Warriors.
Yeah. When you're 4-on-3, you're supposed to do one thing, ball movement, and that's what Whitby does. Swing, 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 far side. Stewart cross crease over to Suter. He buries it. And on the restraining line here looked to be Lee and Kirchmeier that were jawing it up. And possession's going to be awarded to Whitby as they still have 4 minutes to go here. Now this is where if you're both teams, Matt, you're getting into the late stages of the game, under 10 minutes to go. It looks to be that it might be too big a hole for Oakville to climb out, so that's an unfortunate bounce right there as Lamoureux's shot goes wide and it goes off of Luzza that's Pitt and in. Unfortunate break here for the Buzz.
Hey Siri, sum up this series in one replay.
Unfortunately, that's the way that it's gone here for the Buzz over the past 4 games. Just unlucky, unfortunate bounces, skips, hops, errors that they've made have just resulted in them being unable to find a win.
So 13-5. Probably going to be too much to overcome here for the Buzz, unfortunately, with 9 minutes left to go.
It's going to be Lamoureux that's going to be credited with that goal on the stat sheet.
Last to touch it with Weatherup and Suter. For my count, 9 points now for Suter. And Weatherup with another 6-assist night. Graydon Foulon.
Make it 7 assists for Weatherup after that last goal.
Oh, man. (9-7), by the way. Athletics leading at home against Orangeville with a chance to book their tickets to the OJLL finals. Be sure you visit OntarioJuniorLacrosse.com if that happens, when the schedule will be announced, and at the OJLL on your favorite social media platform. Still working this 5-minute power play. Now being told 10-7 here on the out-of-town scoreboard in-house as Weatherup's shot rolls down into the corner for Mason. Suter. For Mason, back towards the corner. Proctor. Trayson Stewart, no shot. Goes for the quick stick again, far side Proctor. He'll go back to retrieve it. A peek at the clock from Weatherup. Tons of time. Still over 2 minutes remaining in this major. Remember, one of those power plays was extra attacker as well. And Constantopoulos makes the save. Foulon to Boone. O'Halloran. Outside Rip Woods. 2 pretty good rookies in this Oakville Buzz campaign. Advance out of the first round of the playoffs for the first time since becoming a Junior A team. But that's where it appears the journey is going to end here this season. All but 3 returning for next year. Blake Mason up top, Lamoureux back behind his back. Down to the corner for Suter. Messina, Lamoureux, Suter. Mason was behind the crease momentarily. He'll pick it up out of the corner. A little shove there from Kirchmeier.
Nice job by Whitby on the ball movement there. Mason with that loose ball recovery.
Did reset the shot clock. So Weatherup here with Lamoureux. And now Mason. Straight down Main Street. That shot missed the mark. Lamoureux comes back towards center to play it himself. Weatherup had gone back towards the bench. Lamoureux races in to save the possession. Got run over by Francis Renner. He's had fire in his belly most of the night. And now Lamoureux behind the back, down towards the crease. Messina, Lamoureux, 20 seconds to go here in this penalty. It's been about 2 minutes of offensive pressure by this power play unit. Lamoureux off Constantopoulos, in and out of the stick of Simmons. Screen thrown by Kirchmeier. Pardon me, this is Pitt, who is in his graduate season. Zach Warren not in the lineup tonight, the third member of the graduating class of Buzz players. Tavares McCafferty as we return 5-on-5. Boone's shot didn't miss by much. Back up top, Tavares winging it across in McCafferty's direction. Tucker there to intercept that pass. And now it's Tovel.
Whitby is just going to lock it down on defense, and you saw them do it there on that one. Boone able to get a good quality look, just couldn't hit the mark, and then at the end, pressuring Oakville, they made an errant pass, and then Zach Tucker just mucking the ball, making sure to cause a shot clock violation, and that's something that the Warriors do very well, is when they have a lead, they rarely give it up.
Well, very easy to get a lead when you have the offense they have and keep it when you have the defense that they've got. And, you know, Pat and I talked about this the other night when, you know, even when you get the look that you want from the defense in an open shot, good chance that Cooper Wilson's going to be back there to save it, which saps even more energy out of your sails. It's now Messina up top, down for Stewart. Feeding it through. James Jemmett just missed. Jemmett went back after Cade Cordingley, and behind the play, Bagnall going to take his man down, Foulon.
Can hear the Whitby bench.
Yeah, it was a low cross check, kind of into the...
So now James Jemmett has just been ejected from the game.
That'll probably be a 10 with only 4:09 left.
Have to imagine that's what it is. So we know that Foulon is in the box.
No, he's
Not
getting
anymore?
the heave-ho. And Troy Cordingley and I was going to say Troy Cordingley and John Vandergiesen, but that was a one-way conversation. Francis Renner, I think, going to either get his own penalty or serve the one for Foulon. We've already seen Dryden go to the dressing room. And the officials just trying to keep a lid on things. Frustrating night and probably a frustrating series for a guy like Graydon Foulon, who has been part of this organization for a while, playing in his final season, like we said. And, you know, this series really has not gone the way that Oakville would like, but as much as Troy Cordingley didn't like that we've said it a bunch of times, that this has kind of been a next year situation, a lot of positives to take from this Oakville team leading into next year.
Yeah, there definitely is. Yeah, when you only graduate 3, and Whitby's going to be in the same boat as well. They're only graduating 3 or 4, so a lot of returnees, and we even asked Troy Cordingley pregame, Matt, like, if this is their final game of the season, are there any positives? And he said that he'll take the next couple of days, a week, and he'll look back and reflect on it. One thing that he did want to mention, or did say that is a success this season, is that they made it past round 1.
Yep.
They did see round 2 here. They became a Junior A organization in 2019, just before the COVID-19 pandemic, and then they hosted the 2021 summer event here at the track on 2 pads, the bubble event, or so to speak, they called it, and they have been building, and over the past couple of years, a little bit of losing records, not able to make the playoffs, so definitely some things have been successful this year for Oakville, but it's definitely more of a 2027 season plan that they are working towards, and if they do find some lightning in a bottle, or catch lightning in a bottle a little bit, they're not going to say no to it, but they know that this year just wasn't the year that they knew they were going to make a deep run.
Yeah, very much a coach and a man who's lives in the moment and thinks about the next game put in front of him, not really, down the road that far. Didn't want to talk about what happens after this game as if it was a foregone conclusion. Shot went off a player, heard it hit the bucket. Steele just for safety, picking it up so it didn't go over and back, and the shot clock sounds anyways. It was a 5-minute major to Foulon for an illegal cross-check, as now Oakville's got a couple goals, Orangeville, to come back within one on St. Catharines. So hold out tickets now. Yeah, I beat you, Steph, sorry. Stephanie makes the announcement in-house. Blake Mason goes over and back in. Bryden Pitt coming in, tries the bouncer in transition. Bagnall over the shoulder. Probably the best look of the period for Oakville, and I know they've scored a couple here too, but nifty one from their transition team. As Pitt is another player who's probably looking at the last minute and a half of his junior career.
Pitt came over from the Mimico Mountaineers at the trade deadline, inserted himself in this Oakville lineup, and Troy told us that there were two words to describe Pitt: big and tough, and he has shown it since he's come over with the Buzz. Not afraid to lay the body, not afraid to give you an extra whack if you do something that he doesn't like, and just to let you know that he's there. And if he can score, great too.
Think of all the defensive players who are in the National Lacrosse League that have come through the Mountaineers program, and might take a few seasons to hear his name called, if I'm not mistaken, but Pitt probably going to add his name to the list.
Can hear some of the Whitby fans starting to clap a little bit, knowing that...
That might be Mitch. Be careful.
That might be Mitch.
You'll get called out on social media.
Correct.
It is down to the last minute, and the arm is high from the official again, and it's coming to Oakville. And it's going to be...
I think it's going to go to Tavares here for the slash, as he got Reese Hunick in the throat area.
Well, that was...
Now we can see the benches.
Yeah, somebody said
back and forth, and
somebody told Troy Cordingley off the Whitby bench to control it, and that set him off as he's coming to the front door after being ejected. And I would say he'd get his 2 cents, but the penny doesn't exist anymore, so he's probably going to get $5 out of this.
And Will Petstring has also been ejected as well, both of them jarring at one another.
Try and see if we can pick up the penalty here. The initial penalty. Keep your eye down on the crease.
So watch Tavares and Hunick. I believe after Hunick gets it, there it is. Yeah, Tavares just pops him underneath.
Poke check.
So there's 30 seconds left. Whitby has a 5-on-3, and their third unit power plays out there. Some of their D guys.
Yeah, Phil Weatherup
just holding it.
Walking down his bench, tapping every member on the helmet as time expires here. That's about as dominant a series as you're going to find here in the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. Pretty much all Whitby Warriors here in this semifinal, who are going to sweep away the Oakville Buzz. 13-5, your final score tonight. As the officials want them to run the clock, they do indeed. And the Whitby Warriors are headed back to the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Finals.
Four consistent 60-minute performances from the Warriors have propelled them back to the OJLL Finals. They won game one pretty easily. Troy Cordingley said, didn't play the best 60 minutes of lacrosse that they had. Game 2, it was Oakville's until Whitby showed up in the third period, mustering off 7 goals to get the victory. Game 3 kind of looked like Game 1. It was Whitby from the get-go, a lot of physicality, good start on offense, and then great goaltending from Cooper Wilson. And tonight, it was the case of 20 minutes at a time, don't get ahead of ourselves, and that's what the Warriors did all night long. Cooper Wilson looked phenomenal in this series. He's looked dominant all playoffs long, and now he will be making his first trip to the OJLL finals as a starter. And there are definitely a couple of returnees on the team last year that are going back, and you can see Wilson and Konstantopoulos having a moment at center as the handshakes get underway. So if we look at the other side of things, Matt, here in Oakville, the Buzz had a good season. They made it back to the playoffs, made it past the first round for the first time in franchise history. And then for Whitby, it was just a case of, are they going to rebuild this year or are they going to reload? And you can see that they kind of just reloaded, brought in a couple of other players, and they're going back to the Ontario finals for a second straight season. Of course, losing last year on home floor to Orangeville, but their opponent is TBD at this point. But it was a good series nonetheless for Whitby over Oakville. The Buzz did show glimpses of playing very well, just unfortunately weren't able to get past both the defense of Whitby and the goalie, that is Cooper Wilson.
Getting word as well that we have a final down in St. Catharines, 10-9. St. Catharines hang on to defeat the Orangeville Northmen. They will beat them 4-1, and your Ontario Junior Lacrosse League final is set. St. Catharines Athletics are the #1 seed, so they will have the first game at Canada Games Park, TBD, against the Whitby Warriors. We'll wait for official word. Visit OntarioJuniorLacrosseLeague.com for that schedule and your stats, standings, and scores from both series and at the OJLL on social media as well. Final score here, 13-5. Warriors win over the Buzz and sweep the series 4-0. St. Catharines wins 10-9 and win 4-1. That is your Ontario Junior Lacrosse League final series coming up probably later this week. But again, visit those outlets where you'll get the official word. For Lucas Arger, for Gary Morrison, the rest of the JVI Sports Network, and the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League, my name is Matthew Carrick saying so long from the track. Once again, 13-5 and a 4-0 win for the Whitby Warriors. We'll talk to you in the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League finals.